now listening to Kendra After Dark.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Kendra After Dark. Today I have my guest host with me. His name is Bobby.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. You're also my first male guest.
Woo!
Right?
I'll,
representing for the men.
I will represent proudly.
So I brought you on because you have some insight on dispensary life.
For sure.
Yeah? Where do you work?
I work at Desert Bloom Relief Center. I work for the grow operation side of it. I'm the operations manager over there, so I'm dealing with basically I'm in every department and making decisions everywhere, and try to be part of the fight to get it legalized and everything. So I feel like I'm a puzzle piece to it, so it's pretty cool.
Right. What made you want to get into the medical marijuana industry?
Not hating my job.
Yeah.
Huge part of it. And then after you have to, like I said, realize that you're a puzzle piece. You're part of something bigger, and and you have to remind yourself sometimes that that's what you're doing. But it is pretty cool. I feel like I'm a part of something. So
I agree. That's pretty awesome. So how long have you been working over there?
3.5 years.
And did you start as an OM or?
No, I started off as I was a patient. That's how I got in. I just butted in. I walked in one day. Someone was talking about hiring. Got in there, and I was hired as a trim manager. So I was always working with the weed. I was always working with the product, just trimming it, getting pounds out. Yeah, I was like incrementally like seeing the most weed I've ever seen in my life. I would see like 5 pounds. I'm like, all right, that's the most weed I've seen. And then it got up to about 1,000 pounds of weed at some point. And it started.
And it's so cool. I love going to that dispensary too because they have that window where you can see the growth.
Oh yeah,
the little mini batch in there, and it's just like I love going to places and seeing that now because growing up as a kid, all the time my parents used to be one day, you're gonna be able to buy these in stores, and it's like I am now. I am that person.
Yeah, and we like being different and doing that, and. Yeah, it's cool. You get to show, and a lot of people never even seen. They smoked weed their whole life, never even seen a actual growing plant of it. So
right,
yeah,
I know, and it's so crazy because you meet a lot of different people, especially now because I've been kind of networking with so many different people who are in the industry. You find how many people don't really know a lot about the plant because they just used to get high.
That's most people.
And then you have others who are like all about the plant, know every single thing that you need to know, and so it's like it's a nice little balance though of meeting those people because you get the education you need for it too.
Yeah.
So super awesome.
I'm still learning. Yeah.
There's always and that's what I learned too, like especially with the podcast because I do test both THC and CBD products. So one of the first things I learned was like make sure that your CBD products have the testing on them.
Yeah.
Make sure it's on their website.
Yeah.
If not, check it out.
Yeah.
Figure out why it's not there. Let them know like, hey, I want this. Because some people just don't know that that's so important as of right now.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a new product. But otherwise, it's like you need to have that because there's so many different people out there that are not giving you like the full
testing.
Yeah,
we actually have an in-house testing. So we're testing everything, and like she is very diligent about giving it like the honest what it's actually testing. I've heard some stories in Denver on how they some people pouring keef on their nugs and stuff and testing it to get that 26 20
they're like it's good now.
Oh yeah. No, and that's real, so it's important to be transparent in it.
Speaking of 26%, I went to Earth's Healing this weekend and picked up this bud that we're going to try today. It is Medellin. It's an indica sativa hybrid. I couldn't actually find a whole lot of information on this strain, but it smelled super good, and like I said, Earth's Healing had it testing at 26%, so we can smoke on it and see how it goes.
Do you normally get drawn to higher test percentage? Is that...
No, I am a name person, really.
Gotcha.
But this one, yes, I did. I looked at it and was like 26%. Let's see how it is.
Cool.
So...
I actually like my weed not testing very... my personal strains, I like the ones that don't, 15 or something.
I seem to really like around 20-23%. Those are usually pretty good for me. The other ones are kind of, sometimes they're just too much.
Yeah, getting some anxiety.
But yeah, and I seem like those are really good. I feel comfortable at those percentages, so it's not bad. This stuff smelled really good. The buds are small, but it actually broke up into a lot, so burning well, not too bad at all. went into the north. Have you been to Earth Healing?
I have not, actually.
So they have the south location and then they have the north location.
Yeah.
Went into the north for this because the south was out when I went to go get it. Or, no, I went to go get a different strain and the south was out, so I went over to north and picked this up also. And I really like their dispensary too. Theirs is really, I think the difference between Desert where you were, Desert Bloom, and then Earth's Healing and other places like that is, I really like how I walk into your dispensary and I feel relaxed. Like I love the furniture there too, so it's like a big awesome. But when you walk into Earth's Healing and no bullshit, it's awesome still, but it's very professional. You really do feel like you're in a medical facility. Walked into a doctor's office and you're here for your test.
Yeah, that's how I felt at the Green Halo when you walk in that waiting room.
You just reminded me that I wanted to go there today.
Because of
I've been waiting. I'm in the middle of a vacation right now, and I've been waiting because they have medicated iced coffee over there.
Really?
Yeah,
oh man, that sounds right down my avenue. Yeah,
like $10 or something. It's not bad.
Yeah, the owner of Desert Bloom, Ari Rubin, he wants it to have the feel of a mom and pop shop and not like a corporate entity, and you definitely feel that when you go in there.
Yeah,
you know,
like
and
that.
That's something that he's been really pushing.
What do you think is like the most stressful process in the growing? The whole, from start to finish.
What do you define like trustful?
No, I said stressful.
Oh, stressful.
Yeah.
Oh, a big thing that people don't really realize is how big dealing with pests, like bugs, for instance, because a lot of the times you don't know where they come from, and especially like we're using all organic stuff, we don't want to use deadly stuff that people like some places won't allow you to use some pesticides and stuff, and I think just dealing with pests and bugs and
especially out here because there are so many, I feel like too.
Yeah, and they love it. Bugs are crazy. Root aphids, they're crazy. They're asexual. They can survive negative 50 degrees. They can go all the way up to 100 and there's two parts of them. There's like a crawler, and then it can asexually produce a flyer, and then that flyer can make a decision to asexually produce another crawler or eggs, and those eggs can lay once you start really learning, you're just like, wow, these things are like evolved to survive in any way they're possible.
That bud, man.
Yeah, no, they go. Another thing is just like providing for the people, and getting them the products that they need. Some people, I would say, 60% of people probably have their medical card just to smoke weed, and then the other people, there's people that genuinely need it, high CBD to THC ratios, and just getting those products out there to provide for them. And
I feel like lack of education is the reason most people just get weed to get high.
Yeah.
Because like even myself, yes, I started smoking weed to get high, but then I realized later on it's also because it was calming the anxiety that I was feeling constantly.
Yeah.
But then also, like, when I got my medical card, a lot of the reason I got my card is because I'm a mom, so it's important especially if I'm consuming, it's important for me to know that it is, one, I have chronic back issues, and I also have PTSD, so I do consume for very different reasons than when I started, but it's just like a safety factor for me to have the card too, because I cannot get in the same type of trouble having my card and having my children as I could if I didn't have it at all. Yeah,
protection.
Yeah.
That was one of my, probably one of two reasons to get my first medical card, was for protection. It's got me out of some situations that if I didn't have it,
100% why I got my card got me out of the situation. That's exactly what it was. You know what I mean? And so, because I'm very open and honest with my kids about medicine and what I'm doing, and then you have people out there that are like, why? You know what I mean? Your kids shouldn't know that and stuff. And I'm like, why am I going to hide it from them?
I like when kids call it medicine.
And that's something I'm very strict about. And I learned, like, it definitely goes over better than me being like, oh, I'm getting high. Well, no, that's not what I want my kids to know.
Yeah.
Especially not with this drug. Like, I feel very different about somebody who's out doing, like, crystal meth or something. Like, you're getting high. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want my kids to grow up knowing, like, oh, this is a medicine. It has all these different properties, and especially now because I am testing CBD products and stuff and learning so much about it, there's like so many benefits of just everything about the plant, and it's just the whole spectrum of what it can do for people, and then how your effects may be different than mine.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool too, honestly. I mean, it's a hit or miss because you're like, dang, that really works for me. And someone's like, nah, it didn't hit me at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, when you find that shit that works, you use it and it's good.
Absolutely.
So what about, the entire process takes how long? From seed to ready to go to the dispensary?
So everything you're doing is probably a 3-month lag. So the moment you cut a clone, it's around 3 months until you actually see the flower come out and everything. Certain strains have longer flower cycles, and you try to feed it the way that it needs to be fed. And certain things, just like how you said, your certain affects you a certain way. Plant different strains react to nutrients a certain way and what their needs are.
So do you guys know pretty much in advance now, because you've been growing a while, what nutrients you need for those certain strains?
Yeah.
Or is it still kind of like a
and we're
try
also
and fail?
Yeah, we're also always cycling out genetics. So sometimes we may have a strain and we may never figure that out, or certain strains, like Blue Dream, your classic strains, there's just data on it, insight on it, and yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed in the industry, or even just as a consumer myself, is how much more available to us now.
Yeah.
Because when I started smoking, it was like, cool, I can get flour or we can get hash.
Yeah.
And now you go, I went to an event today and they were like, do you want some shatter? Do you want diamonds? And it's like, well, shit, I've never tried diamonds. Let's do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got super fucking high. It was just way, way extreme. And the first time I did dabs too, it was almost too much for me.
Yeah, it's almost a psychedelic at some point.
I've never really done psychedelics either, but
Interesting.
So sometimes when I rip the bong, the only way I can explain it is I feel like a big ass black cloud covers my brain for a few moments, and that's when I know it's gonna be a really good hit.
Yeah.
But when I take dabs, that's all that happens. It's not like an occasional bong rip and I'm feeling that.
Yeah.
So it scares me a little bit. You know what I mean? So at first I'm like, I'll take little baby ones. I don't,
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, it's like a mild psychedelic at some point. Yeah, you get really, for me, I go very internal and I just start thinking a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's all from the same thing, because like I said, those had a stronger effect, like the diamonds that we smoked today.
Yeah.
God, I couldn't breathe for a couple seconds and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, dabs make me cough so much.
Yeah.
My girlfriend handles the dabs. Yeah, she call her dab queen.
Yeah, I like flower. I am a flower person mostly, but I've been dabbling in shatter, and I've smoked it before, but I stopped for a long time, so now it's oh my goodness. And I was telling them earlier, I was the only time I have my shatter, I've had a gram for a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm the only time I smoke is when my sister comes over, or when you come over, you know what I mean? So, but otherwise it's I always go up and get a gram, or on Sundays I go and get a good amount of flour usually, and try to just make it last all week.
Yeah.
So if you weren't working in the medical marijuana industry, what do you think you would do?
Oh God. Probably I would want to do a national park ranger.
Oh wow.
I just I can never think about working in another environment, another corporate environment I've had in my past job. So every time I have an idea, it's where you're not you're free. Anything with a flexible schedule, or if you're dealing with nature or something like that. I don't want the job of a corporate.
Plus being outside, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I don't know, I feel that would be freeing. If I wasn't doing this, I actually think about it all the time. I'm man, I would not want to work in another industry.
And I don't meet too many people. I haven't met anybody, actually, that I've come across who's I just hate working at a dispensary.
Yeah, it attracts very nice people. I was just telling her, it attracts. I work with, genuinely, I mean this, amazing people. Some of the people are just so caring, and it's just I think it almost attracts a certain person to a point. And
I feel everybody's on the same level of hey, we all like this, so let's all get together
and make money off of it. You know what I mean? We're working, we got,
and it's so cool because there's so many different perspectives and insights to how you can go about, people that use it in food now. There, know, people that make whole meals. There's TV shows on Netflix that are incorporating cannabis and cooking that. So
it's gonna bring a lot of jobs for sure.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And it's crazy though. The one thing that I think is, obviously, hopefully will change here. It costs so much to get your card.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, I was just talking about that yesterday.
It's so frustrating.
It should be like if it's going to be that much, make it for a couple years.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's what everyone... I think it's going to get there. It's going to get there.
It better be quick.
They have to.
Oh, shit.
I think actually the next bill, it's something like... There's something about renewing your card that it makes it cheaper for more years.
At least and that's like kind of a bummer that I've noticed too. At least renewing your card, let's make it better, you know?
Yeah.
I went to California and she asked how much it was and she was like, oh my God, we pay $30. And I was like...
You're also getting taxed beyond real, like...
True, but $30 sounds wonderful. Like, just the initial sound, I'm like, holy shit, compared to how much it is out here.
I don't know. That tax, I would rather... Just the way it works. You know what I mean? Just the way it works. You probably spend more money with the tax.
I think I went in... So I think I got really lucky, because I hit a dispensary when we were staying there, and I'm pretty sure that girl just liked me. She gave me so much free shit every time I went.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, pre-rolls were like $5, and I was like, cool, give me 2, and I went home with like 6. You know what I mean? And she was like, oh, try these candies. Oh, you're going to Disneyland. Here you go. And so I think I just got lucky. And I kept going back, and she was working every time. So she just kept giving me shit. So, like, I didn't spend that much money. So it didn't feel like I was, you know, it didn't feel like it was such a loss there. And then going, and I could buy Swishers there for $1. Why the fuck can't I buy Swishers here for $1?
Wait, you're able to buy that inside the dispensary? Oh, okay.
But I was able to walk down the street and get it at the other store. But why the hell do I have to pay almost $2 here? Yeah. You know what I mean? Very different. I was like, come on. So, I don't know. You win some and lose some.
Yeah.
I was super excited recently because, well, I guess it has been a little while now, but my birthday's in December, and in around December, I heard that there was a coffee shop here that was going to infuse their coffee.
With CBD?
They were open and closed really quick, and I was like, damn it.
Down here?
Yeah. I can't... Shot in the Dark Cafe or something like that. And I was like, I need to go. And then as soon as I looked,
I can tell you really like coffee.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. Cause
no, I drink coffee every morning.
Me too. Yeah. I need it in the morning for sure. And then
But you're looking for that weed-infused coffee.
Yeah, well, that sounds really good to me because... So with my back pain, I really like Newton's... their black cherry soda, 10 milligrams, is perfect for me. I could drink that and I can go to sleep and my back feels really good. There used to be a delivery company that had drinks too, and I found drinks is the best reliever for my back. So I was like, well, shit, if it's infused coffee, I could drink that in the morning and be chill like most of my day.
So are you guys like aware that there is no Sativa or Indica edible?
Because it just turns into
it's just distillate. So like I just didn't know if like some people are like, can I get like Indica gummies, you know, and like scientifically it doesn't matter.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're like, nope, it's past that form.
Yeah,
that makes sense though.
Yeah, I just learned that the other day. I was like,
That's cool.
Just the way it passes through the liver.
Well, I learned a couple episodes back too that you can be allergic to ingesting marijuana, like edibles.
But not smoking it?
Yeah, but you can smoke it and not have the same effects. So I was like, man, that's so interesting. Yeah. So, and it's crazy because, like, growing up, my grandma used to be like, yeah, I'm allergic to weed. And I'm like, no, you're not allergic to weed. I've never heard of anybody allergic to weed. And now they're coming out with, like, people who do react differently to it. So I'm like, maybe she was allergic to weed.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone being allergic to weed.
I've definitely heard of people who take edibles and then talk about getting sick afterwards. Like, their stomach hurting or things like that. And I was like, I wonder if it's like a minimal, kind of little version of that. But like I said, I've been learning so much just during the time I've been doing this podcast and talking to different people in the industry, all the different effects, and just learn. There's so much to learn, and I thought I knew a lot already, and I don't know shit.
Yeah.
How long did the process? Well, how long did it take you to get manager this whole time? Was that a recent?
I started off as trim manager, and then probably a year and a half later, I bumped up to assistant operations, and then. Now I've been.
So you're just really good work ethic too, huh?
I think I'm just good with teamwork, getting everybody on the same page. Yeah.
Come on, you're allowed to say yes, I am.
I want to be humble, So.
No, that's good. It's good to have. It's so important because
a lot of people I work with have incredible work ethics.
And that's kind of something I noticed too, and that's what I think is awesome about loving the job that you're at. Cause how often do you go, especially let's say you go to a dispensary every day, or not every day, but like on the same day every week, you know what I mean? You have a schedule. Mm-hmm. I always see my same people working. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So how often are they calling out sick? As opposed to you go
I feel like
to
retail I feel like is a much different environment than grow. It's adds a lot more stress, and then once you start bringing people into it, there's just a lot more ways to fuck up your day.
But I still
what I mean?
I still think it's so. I mean, coming from like call centers and stuff like that, I'm sorry. I still think 9 times out of 10 they go to work
for sure. And to answer your
fuck
question, people don't nearly call out as much. Like that, there is people get sick and stuff like that. You know, stuff happens.
Obviously.
Life happens, but I don't think anybody is in the same situation of calling in because you don't want to go in.
Right.
You know. So yeah,
it seems like more of an upbeat environment. When we were out there today, there was, I want to say like 5 or 6 vendors set up. And just everybody I met just looked really cool. You know, really good.
It's because they're like you.
Super good vibes, I know. And I was just like, these are the people that I've been waiting to meet, you know. And it's definitely different than being a teenager and sitting around and being like, all right,
I think
let's get high.
And our motto is for the patients, by the patients. You know what I mean? So, and it's true. We're, you know, just like everyone else, but, you know, I feel like we're on the same level.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That weed, definitely good. I'm on this strain.
Oh yeah, that weed is strong. Oh my god.
I feel the effects right away, but it's good because I'm not super down and.
Yeah, no, it's upbeat.
I just feel nice and content.
Yeah.
My eyes aren't super heavy or anything, and that's something
for sure.
That's something that's a bummer about the higher percentages I've noticed, and obviously more so in indicas. But I hate when my eyes feel like I can't open them, and it's frustrating because I'm high and I feel good, but at the same time I'm like, it's just a little too much right here, you know. So
see, I actually like, because when I do smoke, it's mostly at night, like right before I just get in the bed and. But during the day, from working there, I was smoking all the time. I started off, I was smoking so much, and I had to deal with numbers, and I get to work with the plant, but I'm also having to do just numbers tracking stuff, and I would just get so high, and I would just be like, what? Like I'm just like, yo, and then
I do accounting.
Yeah. Then you know, it just the way that it was affecting me. I just I started to realize. That it was good for just if I didn't use it all the time. Yeah.
So like a good break.
Not necessarily. I think my experience with psychedelics. I feel like after that, I looked at marijuana differently.
Psychedelics?
I've tried DMT, LSD, and mushrooms.
I'm afraid of all of those. I always wanted to try mushrooms, but they scare the hell out of me.
Don't be. Mushrooms are actually super therapeutic.
I know, and just recently they got passed.
Decriminalized. In Colorado, and it's I just went to a lecture. Have you ever heard of MAPS?
No.
It's like multidisciplinary. I can't say that word. Association for Psychedelic Studies, and they're like a huge just group going after legalizing mushrooms and. I think MDMA for therapeutic settings and people that need to go through therapy, like end-of-life therapy, or depression, PTSD.
Because that's what they say is shrooms help with depression, right?
What I would say, shrooms are a huge underutilized nootropic. Do you know what nootropic is?
No,
it's a brain vitamin.
Okay.
So you take vitamins every single day. Sometimes it's good to take a brain, and it is. The other mushrooms are amazing too. Over-the-counter mushrooms, lion's mane mushrooms. Check that stuff out. Good for cognitive ability. And there's a story actually. John Stamets, he was on a podcast. Spent his whole life studying mushrooms. He was 20-something years old. Severe stutter. His whole life. Went into the forest, ate 20 grams of mushrooms, and came out without a stutter. Severe stutter too. And he just says he was able to remap his brain almost in an intense therapeutic.
I can believe that. They say a lot, power of thought. So I think going in with that mindset would definitely kind of lead you down the right way. I think I'm afraid of it because I've heard a lot of people talk about it as being video game and shit, and I don't want to get stuck in that type of weirdness.
I've experienced that, but I think a lot of the negativity comes from exploring yourself and confronting things. I think that psychedelics is like I said, a medicine, and it's you can use it almost as a tool. I had my experience with LSD was what made me stop smoking weed, and it's because I confronted a lot of things, experienced ego death. All that stuff is absolutely real, you know, and but it's beautiful once you've realized to use it as
Can you explain ego death?
I didn't know who I was. Just my personality, and it was scary, but I also felt a oneness, and it felt fake. It felt like just the environment that I was in. I didn't think it was real life. I just didn't. I thought I was dead almost. And it was a sense of, that's why I thought I was dead, and that's what I mean. I didn't know myself. Like, it's tough to explain. It was.
You just said it, and it caught my attention because I've never really heard somebody say that. But even you kind of explaining it kind of feels like essentially what I've gone through over the last year of just kind of realizing who I am or who I don't know that I am.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff.
Exactly.
And like kind of confronting like, well, what is this front that I've been putting up? And not that I'm intending to put a front up, but not really going within myself to know exactly what do I want in this life and like how am I going to be. And so it's crazy being 31 and just being like, well, let's learn all of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and I think it's never too late. It's never too late to learn that. And my experience may be different from other people's experiences because you have your own life. And I think when you're experiencing yourself, you know, and that's why, but ever since then, I laid back on it because at the time I was using it recreationally, just having fun. My experience that I experienced that was at Sabino Canyon, 12 o'clock at night. I thought I was the universe, just being able to look at that, and I was like, it all. You find metaphors and things, and it's it's beautiful.
A different level.
Yeah, I stopped, but yeah, that's why after that LSD experience, I came out of it, and I was starting to feel that marijuana was almost giving me the same effect in a way, and I just couldn't come to terms with it, and it took about a year. I thought about that experience every single day for a year, and I'm just gonna use it for medicine now. Like
that's good though. That's a good way to think about it and experience.
So my mom, I just found out this weekend that she only has about a month to live. I'm
so sorry to hear that.
It seems like a bad dream, but my experience with DMT has genuinely helped me out with accepting the process of where she's gonna go. So DMT, when you die, your brain releases a lot of it. And especially when you're sleeping. So when you're sleeping, and it releases a ridiculous amount when you die. And how I felt, like I see the light, you can see the light. I fell through it, and you're like completely stripped of your ego. You're completely stripped of it, and I felt like it was only my energy, and I felt like my decisions that I've made through life, and my own self respect, and that was my energy. Yeah. You know, and I felt like it was based on that, and I went to a place where I felt like I was getting reassigned or reincarnated. It felt very familiar. I've been there a million times. My epiphany, someone told me to think about time when I was in there, and it was disorienting. To me, all of time happening right now. Yeah. Like a billion years in the future, billion years in the past, all of it is happening right. It's because when you sit there and say the whole cliche, like you're one, that is it's incredibly true. You're one of something. We're all one of something. And but my experience, tranquility. Right. That's a word I can say. I've never used that word in a feeling of anything, but DMT was complete tranquility. And I just took it as like your brain will not allow you. This will not be a painful experience, you know, even though some people might die of violent death or something, but the process of going to wherever you go, and you know what, this could be my own interpretation, but I've read a good bit of it, and I learned about it before I went in, and a lot of it's true. For me, humming in there was incredible. Yeah. Someone told me to hum. I was in good hands. Someone was leading me and told me to hum, and it was altering things. It was beautiful. I came out of it and I saw energy shooting up in the air from all the plants I was around. Oh yeah. And I was cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty wild. And they say that makes sense that it would kind of magnify when you're on a hallucinogen like that also, because they say just in nature, like naturally, you can kind of manifest that yourself. energy is 100% real.
Yeah.
And that's what I just know when I talked to my mom, and I just told her like where you're going is beautiful. And it's not terrible.
Yeah.
You know.
It's
so.
definitely death is hard. I've unfortunately been through a lot of death. A lot of my family was sick growing up, you know, and died young, and it's so crazy to kind of have to deal with that, but at the same time kind of know that you're able to move forward. Like, nothing ever feels the same, but you are able to move forward with stuff and kind of understand that it happens to everybody, you know what I mean? It's such a weird process to have to go through, honestly.
Never dealt with this before, so it's kind of...
So it's very different. My first one, I lost my grandpa in 2007, and I was like really, really close with him. So that hit me like extremely hard. And he had been sick, and I knew he was sick, but it just, I was not prepared. You know what I mean?
I don't think you ever can be, really.
No, definitely not, because you always just, you just expect people to be around and shit. I've had friends die. Yeah. Like, and that's crazy too, because I've sat here and been like, oh, we're the same age. Like, what do you, you know what I mean? You're not supposed to die. The unfairness, I guess, that people talk about in life, but I understand there's balances, and I try to be real positive about that. And
yeah, it makes me want to be super positive, you know.
The one thing I can say, in having dealt with a lot of death, is that those numbers are not ever usually a real thing. My aunt was given time and outlived that by years. Yeah,
I'm certainly hoping.
Yeah, it's you gotta keep with that, because you don't have a death date, whatever they say. Like, that's kind of hard. You never know. So shit, I could walk outside tomorrow and die. Like, I always try to think about that, because it's like, ugh, you know what I mean? So you seem like you get very into yourself. You think a lot when you go through different phases or trying different drugs and stuff like that. Do you meditate and stuff?
I do yoga. I should meditate more.
Yeah.
I guess that's a form of yoga. I play basketball. That's a form of meditation for me too. You know.
Yeah. Well, I had somebody on recently, and she was like talking about all the different types of meditation. I didn't even realize there were so many different like therapies. Like, I like to paint, and I never really thought about it. That's the only time I can get everything to shut up. Like, you know what I mean? And it's really cool. And she goes, yeah, that's like a form of meditation. And I was like, yeah, I guess I never really thought about that.
It is.
You know, it's enough where I can separate myself.
People need that avenue. You know what I mean? People need that avenue to...
I agree. I think
that's life. I think that's life.
I think they should teach kids how to meditate growing up. I think it should be something
I think it's a thing of culture.
Yeah.
If we... America almost doesn't have a culture. You know? We're everything, but we're nothing. It's weird. And
everybody I meet that's in their 30s is like, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life and shit, and it's like, well, goddamn, it sucks that we didn't get to talk. You know, like, I bring a lot of, like I said, you're my first man on the show, so thank you. But the women that I've talked to, all of us talk about how we never learned about self-care. And not only self-care, self-love is not, you don't learn how to love yourself growing up. Like, no matter what. Yeah. Your mom loves you or whatever, and you have that. That's very different than being able to look in the mirror and being okay with that person. Because, like, off the bat, people are given, like, this idea of what they need to fit into, and that's the social media, and it sucks, dude.
And that's helped me to get away from that, and helped me see that that's happening. You know,
I mean, social media is awesome in a lot of different ways, but it's not. And we all grew up with social media, so it's very different. But I feel like even my mom's generation didn't learn that shit either. And I like you said, maybe it's a cultural thing. Like,
it's 100%.
We never learned how to properly have.
Our culture's set on
into adults.
Competition.
Yes.
Or, you know, so we're competing against our natural, you know, it's...
Always, and everybody is. And that's something I've talked about so much, because I was like, when you're a little kid, like, little girls are you know, cool, boys are awesome, but I want to look better than that girl over there, and I want her to know I look better than her, and it's so unfortunate, and it's weird. But if you talk to everybody, especially being this age now, I guess it's you kind of past all the bullshit where you look back and you're like, yeah, that did happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not too proud enough to be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, because everybody's like, yeah.
Being real with it.
Yeah, you know, so... I just feel like that's something we need. Meditation.
And I think weed is or marijuana, is a good avenue to self-acceptance and accepting others.
It is, and I think, for me, I don't like to take pills. Well, that's why I would rather medicate with marijuana, whether it be a drink or flower or whatever it is, because when I was younger, like, I don't know, I was stupid. I used to just do shit to get high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I first started smoking weed, I went through, like, I have the munchies, and, I want to take a shower because it feels awesome, and you know what I mean? Like, that whole little thing, and now I'm just like, okay, cool, I feel good.
It is now medicine.
Right, exactly. It's super different. I don't know. I just want to see it socially accepted.
It's getting there.
It is.
In Arizona, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
A lot of Republicans, I feel like.
I know. It's like you meet people that are all for it, and then you meet people that are like not about it at all, and it's kind of hit or miss for sure.
It may not be. If it's not for them, why not let the people that do want to use it use it?
Right? Like, why stand in the way of that?
It's okay if you're not into it, but...
I agree. And that's the thing is, like, I had somebody on and she was like, you don't have to agree with someone you don't have to be against someone to go along with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or basically, like, give you the hype that you need to do whatever you want. Like, I don't have to agree. I don't have to be like, that's what I want to do, or... You know what I mean? Enough just to know that there's people that are out there trying to do something. I think that's so big now.
Yeah.
Like, and I know a lot of people are out there. I think it's different our age. It seems like there's a lot of entrepreneurs. There's so many in the medical marijuana industry.
Oh, yeah.
Especially. And CBD popping up now too. And it's like, it's just crazy to meet how many people are going for the same thing in the end. You know what I mean? And so it's cool to connect to people that are they smoke weed or whatever it is, but then I also meet people that don't smoke weed that are totally for it. It should be legal, let's do it.
There's people that have logic, people have logic.
Yeah, exactly. Or you know what I mean? It's not bothering me, so I don't care.
Yeah.
And I like that. I look forward to the future of it. I've been seeing a lot of posts recently about those, I think they're hemp.
The hemp
cigarettes.
The hemp cigarettes?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone brought them in the other day. Hemp is getting, it's popping right now. The beginning stages of it, just like how marijuana was.
And a lot of things are switching over from saying CBD to saying hemp because there's an issue with CBD being on labels. So it's like, oh, that makes sense because I've noticed that just in people who I've spoken to or people that send me items to review and shit. I'm like, well, why do you say hemp? And why is this CBD? And I look at it and I'm looking up everything and essentially you're talking about all the same stuff, and someone explained to me today.
The medical marijuana industry is all about wording. On the technical law side of everything, wording is everything.
Yeah.
So. It's
so crazy too. But I'm excited. We just had our first event today with Pink Kush.
Yeah, I see those shirts.
Which is a network that was started in Phoenix by Jasmine. I had her on the show previously too.
Awesome.
First Tucson pop-up down here. So essentially Pink Kush is just about like having a safe environment for people to medicate. And it's pretty exciting because everybody who was at the pop-up today was like, I'm so excited that finally something's in Tucson. Like, yeah, that's kind of what we need. So
is that like a lounge?
Essentially she organizes events, you know what I mean? So you would come in, there'll be a lot. Like today we had, like 5 vendors or whatever out there. You were able to go inside and medicate. There was a dab bar. There was flour.
Dope.
You know what I mean? So really good.
That's very early. Ideas like that, if you can get them in early when they're not still around, that's the game.
Right. Yeah, so I was super excited. I heard about her. I found her on Instagram, kind of looked into it and was like, that's pretty cool. And then speaking with her in person, I was like, yeah, I can totally get behind that. And I just like that idea because honestly, whether it's just for women or, just for men or both or whatever, like I think everybody does need a safe space to be able to do it just because you don't always just want to sit at home and medicate by yourself. Like,
some people are social smokers.
Exactly. I think it's a cool thing, and I think the future in marijuana definitely has bright things for us. For
sure. I think it's going to get past this year. I didn't feel the way the last time it was going.
Yeah, I agree. I'm ready though. I'm hyped. And with all the different ideas that people were talking about today, just like products that they, you know, are in the works, and more people working on their own version of, you know, whatever it is, brands and marketing, and just taking ownership of themselves. I think it's so cool to like see that from start to finish. And especially like you're in the grow. Like, that's the coolest shit ever. I like plants and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to see from start to finish what you're smoking.
Yeah, I think we have like 4,000, 5,000 plants on site right now.
And I'm trying to keep like 6 plants alive right now. So, not weed plants, just regular ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be that. I'm a little behind. I already have my kids and animals, but I'm trying to keep plants alive.
Yeah,
now.
we have great people working on them. And
that's good. Yeah, I like it.
I would, anybody that's trying to get in the weed industry, to really put some effort into it.
Definitely. Well, I know we talked about it earlier, but that Medellin, very good.
Yeah, very.
I liked it.
I haven't smoked another dispensary's weed in a very long time, and
I'm glad I can help you.
Yeah.
They got that at Earth's Healing. Again, 26% indica sativa. I feel good. I don't feel super down, anything like that. So it's nice.
Definitely a sativa.
Yeah, I would give it.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm like ready.
Mm-hmm.
Go cook some food or whatever. Would get it again. Well, I appreciate you coming on and
thanks for having me.
About everything.
I hope I was a good first male representative.
And thank you for coming on.
Of course.
So appreciate it.
I'll try to bring my girlfriend here.
Yeah, we'll have to get her on.
She is a bud tender, so.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to look into also. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Kendra After Dark. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and review on whichever platform you listen on. Check out Red Dragons Radio, which is another host that holds on to every episode that I post. They have lots of other good podcasts there as well. www.kendraafterdark.com just to listen every week. Don't forget, blog posts on Friday and brand new show every Saturday. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hey, hey.